Auntie Sal's Emporium.
There you go. Sorry.
Hold on 1 second, I think. I have a Mac and it makes things really complicated because this is kind of an anti-Mac town in some ways. Like I tried to go get my HD, or I'm breaking this thing again. I tried to go get, my little stick to transport my presentation because I'm used to doing everything just in the cloud, but Walmart doesn't carry them anymore. And I'll go ahead and get started while she's going because I talk a lot. So my name is Sally Stevens. I'm one of the 3 people who make up Auntie Sal's. I'm also the founder. It was started back in April of 2021. It actually there's a little bit of backstory. I feel like I need to let you know how I got to be there. So up until 2016, I left home in 92 as soon as I could get out of here. The first person I dated was a trans woman, and in 1992, being trans in Southwest Missouri, not that great. 2022, being trans in Southwest Missouri, much better, still not that great. So I live in New York and in Boston and in New Orleans. And in 2016, on Christmas Eve, my dad passed away suddenly. So I did what any person does. I came back for the funeral, and I never left. I wanted to leave my husband. I didn't know what else to do. I kept staying, I kept extending my leave for my job. I was working as a direct service provider at a place named Young Adult Institute for people with developmental disabilities in their palliative care unit. But I had just graduated with a degree in sociology from Hunter College. I was thinking maybe I'll be a social worker. I've always wanted to do social justice law. I applied to lots of different places, and then my dad died and found a way to get out of town, I guess. The next 3 years I spent being drunk, having no idea what I had done, why I was back in the place that had caused me all the trauma at the beginning of my life. But I kept going, just kept rolling with it. Then in 2020, my best friend committed suicide. I was like, wow, life is really short. Gonna have to really do something. I had a good job at the time. I was working at the casino, making a really good amount of money. I was like, I don't like this. This is not my life. So I found a really cool house in Joplin. I'm gonna move to Joplin. I can walk downtown. I can walk to the yoga studio. I can walk to the new brewery. I still didn't have the job figured out, but I was going through some really big, deep therapy that was helping me process things. I'm just gonna quit the job and I'll figure it out. So in July, my partner and I moved to Joplin, and then on January 20th of 2021, he died of liver failure. On January 30th, my mom died of complications from COVID-19. Had this huge house in a town I didn't want to be in, with a bunch of memories and a bunch of things, and thinking I just want to get out of here. But instead, I had a lot of conversations with a bottle of morphine that was left in my house. Instead, I started just processing everything. I started pulling out all of my memories. When I lived in New York, I was a heroin addict for 8 years. And I carried around a whole bunch of stuff in boxes, and I kept it somehow in a storage unit for the entire 8 years. And when I got to my house and everything was gone, I started unpacking it and processing all the stuff. One of the first things we did was to make some collages out of the things I've been carrying around for years. I also started looking through the notebooks I had. And it turns out I've had a business plan going on since I was 12 years old. And all of my notebooks, there were things about opening a store. That picture up there is from when I went to cosmetology school. That was going to be a salon called Pigtails and Pompadours. I had boutique. I had, in 1995, I went to classes in New York City through the Small Business Administration to open a salon. My friend Rebecca went ahead and did it and had a salon in Williamsburg, Brooklyn for 23 years named Hello Beautiful. I kept making mistakes and going, but this time I decided to start a business. And in the beginning of it, there was a friend of mine, we kept talking, going to the Small Business Administration together, and finally she's like, you know what, I can't do this. Being in business with somebody is like being married. I already have a wife, I don't need another one. I'm like, well, okay, but you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna keep doing this, like, I'll figure it out. And one of the jobs I had when I couldn't find a job was at Dairy Queen in Seneca. And when I worked at Dairy Queen in Seneca, I met a girl by the name of Marissa Benea. She was 15, she was in high school, she was going through a lot of stuff as well. She just kept showing up to work, just kept showing up. No matter how bad things got, she just kept showing up. She ended up having a baby when she was a senior in high school. Through the pandemic, I watched her, she ran the gun counter at Atwood's. This little alternative girl ran the gun counter at Atwood's. And when I saw that she did that, it was like, if I'm ever gonna have a business, I want this person on my side. And when it came time that I needed another partner, I reached out to her, the stars aligned, and she was able to come on board. And she brought with her her daughter, Charlotte. Never been around kids my whole life. I always thought I hated them. They have a lot of energy. As you come into my store, there are some days Charlotte is there. She'll meet you at the door. She shows you around. She even has a little store inside the store where she tries to sell me my own merchandise sometimes. So she really, like, we always wonder when she goes to school what's going to be the first thing that she gets sent home from. So what makes us different? One of the things that happened when I moved back here, spending a lot of time with my mom, we played this fun game of let's go check out all the boutiques in the area. So we start sometimes in Seneca, go to Grove, go to Afton, go to Bonita, I mean all of them. I love hunting out all the good stuff. Go to Grambling, people travel, people go to boutiques, there are lots of great things. Lots of great things oriented to people who like cow print, cheetah, and love God. I have no problem with any of those things. However, there are those of us who sometimes like to express ourselves in different ways. When I moved to Boston, it was the queer community that accepted me. They were the people full of rainbows and happiness and where I felt like I belonged. And when I decided to stay here and I was really gonna do it, like, I have to make this a place that I can belong. I have to make this a place where the girl who started out with me, when she was breaking up with me, was dressed like Wednesday Addams and telling me I was a little bit too loud and that some of her older clients probably wouldn't come in because it was just gonna be too weird. So that's also part of the reason I opened next door to a tattoo shop that has no pussies written on the window. Because I figured, you know what, like if people are gonna be against me, I might as well just go all the way with it and make it as difficult on myself as possible. So, like, but I swear, I'm really a nice person underneath it all, and I just want everybody to be accepted. Like one of the big things is, like, Marissa and I, we don't necessarily, like, yeah, we've been in New York in this downtown, like, Amanda Lepore and all of my friends who were the downtown wild kids now sell tickets for $1,000 tables at their spot in Times Square. But there's all of us who live here who don't quite fit into that or may not have the financial ability to ever be able to go and experience that. But then we also have the other side because maybe we like guns and that's really confusing to our friends who live in New England. They don't get it. That's really confusing to our people who live in California. So we have all of these different sides to us that we have to kind of make peace with. Our grandmother who's in the church, or this person, and still all love everybody and find a common ground. So that's really what Auntie Sal's is about. Our demographic, these are some of the other things that I have a salon. I'm on Strands for Trans, which means that people who are going through transition in gender can look up on the internet for a safe place to go, and I've had the opportunity to do a lot of first-time gender-affirming hairstyles, which is a really cool thing for somebody who has spent a life in a body that they don't quite feel or see themselves, to make a person's outside appearance feel like what they feel like on the inside. Like, that's the greatest gift about being a hairstylist and working in cosmetology. We also seek out products that are made by small companies, minority-owned companies, female-fronted companies. We make a lot of things in-house. We collaborate with the tattoo artist next door. And we're also constantly searching for our unicorn product to wholesale, because one of our big dreams, I think, is also to have Mr. Wonderful say that we're wonderful and be on Shark Tank. So our demographic is younger. It's one of the things that has I always think of young and hip until I realized that the 18 to 25-year-olds shop very differently than I shop. I love to research and look. People younger like things instantly. So like the website that I spent so much time on and thought was amazing, totally didn't work for any of them. They don't want to go to a website. They want to buy off of TikTok and the video right then. So I'm working towards that, learning with it. So we do have, well, that was just our marketing strategy. We have commercials that are shown on KOAM. We are on social media, all of it. We've been working to build our TikToks. I travel to festivals. If there's a gay pride somewhere, next week I'm going to Colombia. In a couple of weeks I'll be in Vegas for their pride. I realized also I can't sit in my shop in the west corner of Joplin waiting for people to come in, because they're not. They're not. I've been told by people, if you had a website, if you were on Etsy, I would buy your stuff all the time. Like, well, you could get in your car and take a little journey, pretend you're on vacation, and come visit us. But it's all right. It's all right. I'll go to the festivals. I like to travel. I've been working on figuring out the whole SEO thing to put in all of our products to get our e-commerce going. I'm going to do some more work with Route 66. It's one of the things I love. We have a huge Route 66 mural inside the store. I want to make a few more things that are oriented towards it, like the Well of Catoosa is another thing I love. So if we can get some of the travelers to come through to stop by with some local art. We're starting a blog, also a private Facebook group. Marissa and I do have a tendency sometimes to say things that could potentially get us kicked off of Facebook. So we're going to go a little bit private so we can be a little bit more open. And I also work to sponsor a lot of local events through different charities. I don't know why that one's not working. One of our things that makes us different too is I think our friends. Our friends who are all over. Because I've lived in lots and lots of different places, I've got help and input from my store, from people from Colombia, in overseas, another place in Germany, my friends in LA, they all have some input in it. It's about making the world kind of a smaller place. So part of our goals I'm working on converting the bottom of my house into an Airbnb that can also be used for a photography studio, and we can do some product placements in it. We're again working on some wholesale items. We're figuring out prototypes of different things. There's a podcast that I've been working on since it would have way back when it would have been cable access, that hopefully will get going in our e-commerce. One of my big goals for this next year is to be an Artist in Fleas in Brooklyn and in Venice Beach. Artist in Fleas is one of the places that a lot of sellers from big corporations will go to and scan for products to be able to market in larger box stores or Targets, where a lot of people have gotten picked up for those things. So that's on my radar. The things that I really could use some assistance with are how to get those followers that we have on TikTok, or how to take those thousands of likes and turn it into sales. Getting our e-commerce going. We would like to do some more things with event planning. We're also thinking about, you guys were talking earlier about subscription services, maybe subscription services with corporations for gift giving for their secretaries or for different people. We love to hunt out unique and quality items that we have things in our store ranging in price from 50 cents to over $300. But we're anything you want, we'll try to go find it for you. And we're also almost to a point where we probably would need an intern or some kind of help somewhere. And so I just kind of, to scale, and our next step And I also, like, going to things like this is really good to stay motivated, because as you guys all probably know, when you're sitting in your space all day and nobody's there, but every day you have to keep up the energy, like, today's the day, and you have to keep telling the people, like, every day, you've got to do it every day, like it's the first day of your life, and you don't know who's going to walk through that door. So thank you all for being here and letting me do this and try to keep the spark going.
We've got some questions. We've got a few minutes left.
Great presentation. I love your energy. It warms my heart living in New York City, and the first time I ever stepped into your store, it was the first thing I told you. I was like, I feel like I'm in New York again, and it's great. And you've got one-of-a-kind stuff. I saw, as soon as you flipped to the stage, subscription box, because one of my ideas was, because you do have so many unique little things, some of which, like I was talking to Lori about some of the really cute onesies that talk about, like, you know, future female president, you know what I mean? And some of these really unique things, some of the books that you have. So thinking of either doing, like, I don't know, like different themed little boxes. Maybe it's not something that they pay for, like on a monthly sort of, they receive in the mail, but maybe there's like a Halloween box coming out, or a Pride box, or a baby shower one, or you know, and something about, you know, when it's Women's Month, and having a special box curated by you, and because you do have so many unique things and you're always adding stuff, that I think it might be really cool, or do like a mystery box or something, and then it gets people to come back. And those are really easy, like I can buy a Halloween box for a friend for her birthday. You know what I mean? Because you are so helpful when someone does come in the store and they ask questions about certain things, that you could create boxes like that.
Love your energy, transparency, and heart. So you don't have to worry about keeping the spark going. You are the spark. When we have our e-commerce meetups, I know that in past we've talked about the whole new term of conversational marketing, or comment marketing is what it is. So instead of like doing that, maybe a version that you can do of that will be on your social media pages. Just record you on camera in your store like it's live. So it's like recorded live. And then another thing that a boutique was doing up in Lamar, she would have private showings, if you will. People would schedule time, like 2 or 3 girlfriends would come in and they'd bring a bottle of wine, and it was just them in the store and the store owner, and they would just like try things on and that kind of thing. So maybe make it a more personal thing. That may be something to consider.
That's why on Sunday I did hair for 2 people with mimosas and yeah.
Anybody else? A couple more questions? Where is your store?
We are at Chipper Decker and A at the Westside Village Shopping Center. You'll notice that, like, it's a U-shaped building and there's lots of graffiti and murals on the outside of it.
So I want to just clarify in my mind. So it's a salon and a gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are your 2 main things?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Stella.